by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, Satan's that star-spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land under the fray, and the home of the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight to rename the name of the brave. We are the U.S. of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. Stand of the brave, the U.S. of A. Oh, Satan's that star-spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land under the fray, and the
Well, kids, we're back out of YouTube jail. 2 weeks ago, I did a show about an hour and some long, and I had talked about certain virus going around and some of the things that some other doctors were saying about it, so I won't go into that because I don't want to go through that shit again. Just know that they don't like the truth. Let's put it that way. Anyway, we's back. I see Emmy is back, and Emmy, the whole bunch of us were getting a little worried about you. So if you would like to elaborate what was wrong so everybody could, get the feeling happy that you're back. And that's fine. So last week we did a show, but it couldn't get on YouTube. So I opened up a Facebook account, and I broadcast through OBS onto Facebook, braveheartradio.net or Braveheart Daryl Civic's Braveheart Radio. So I don't know. I know when I punch it into my computer up at the house, it comes up. I don't know if there's anything out there on Facebook that you might want to check into to see what was going on last week. I'm flying alone. I was hoping my grandson would be out here. Scotty couldn't make it, and Mr. T is still having family problems. Oh, Emmy says that she was in the hospital, and now I'm in a nursing home. What was the thing? The virus? Um, so anyhow, I was up to the mountains yesterday and did some more work on the undisclosed location. We had the new location is a trailer, and it had a old porch roof on it that was rotten, so we took that off, the rest of it off this weekend. And over Memorial Day weekend, we're going back up there and we're going to put a new roof up and close it in and add open up the trailer and make it a little bigger room for all of us big farts. And so Labor Day week or Memorial Day weekend, there probably will not be a show. So I probably won't even be down here to be able to play the roll call of the fallen that we've played year after year after year. It hasn't changed any because from Crawford County, we haven't had anybody killed in Desert Dust 1, 2, or the 20 Years' War, whatever way you want to call it. So, oh, well, that sounds... I'm not going to try and diagnose your problem there, Emmy, but that don't sound good. I hope you can rebound from it, because I've been in those stages where I've been weak and haven't been able to do for myself, especially after having open heart surgery. And so I can get an idea of what you're talking about, along with a couple other things I've had to deal with. But anyway, we are, Jack said it, sending our prayers to Emmy. All the rest of you out there that are listening in the area or that are on the YouTube program tonight, send Emmy our best. I wish we could get a way to get her address and we'd send her a card, but I don't think she wants that put out over the air. So we'll just send our best this way, Emmy, and keep listening. So anyway, we did some work up there. Still having water problems because every time we go to fix or connect or replace a broken pipe that we find, we have to go through and Yankee engineer it. And so anyhow, what was I going to say? Oh, I'm flying alone. Scotty can't come. Mr. T is still dealing with some family issues, so he ain't going to make it. My grandson was out here with my granddaughter, which is his sister. They were out here this morning, and I tried to talk him into coming, and he said he'd try, but he only has so many hours a day, and His sister doesn't live here. She lives down in Harrisburg. She's going to law school down there. So she was on her way back from a trip to Maine to visit a friend of hers up there in Maine, and she swung by and stopped here by us today, and then was going to pick up our two cats that were at my son's house, and then head on back down to Harrisburg today, which is about a 4-hour drive from here. But I got to tell you what we had for supper up there in the mountains. My son had made us up a bacon wrapped venison chop, sprinkled with some, I think he said it's Montana seasoning, and it's really good. And yeah, yeah, I see that, Jack. You can hack a pipeline, but you can't hack a voting machine. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's a couple articles out there about that. We'll get to that in a little bit. So, anyway, we had venison chops cooked over an open fire, wrapped with bacon. And boy, was that good. And the wife had cooked up some Norwegian pie, which my son loves. So we took that up there for dessert. So like I say, it was a good dinner. I come back home last night, and I don't know what happened, but I got hit with cold sweats, weak feeling, shaky. So I managed to scrape up enough energy to go to the kitchen where my diabetic testing equipment's at. And I tested my blood sugar. And at that point, it was below 80. Now, doctors will tell you, well, 60's low, but 80's, between 80 and 90 is where we really like to have it be. Well, that might be for some people, but you can't call that the norm for everybody, because everybody's system is different. So I got hit real hard. And so fortunately, Mom had made an apple pie. So I had a piece of apple pie and a glass of milk, figuring that would put some sugar into my system. Well, that didn't quite work. Not fast enough. So then I had to eat a York peppermint patty, but that took about another half hour for that to mix up and get in there. But finally, by the time I got done eating it, I got my level back up to 116. But then by bedtime it was 200 and some. But that's what happens. You go from one extreme to the other, and I can't figure it out. There was no reason for it, because I had plenty to eat, and I had plenty of carbohydrates, which is one of the main things that cause problems. But for a diabetic anyway. And I had a baked potato to go with that, cooked in the fire. I hope I'm making you guys all hungry out there. But tonight for supper, I had spaghetti with venison meatballs. And next week we have the gun show. Well, that's what I went, but I can't figure out why I did because I shouldn't have. But that happens to me every so often. I'll just go boom. So next weekend we have the gun show up at East Mead Township Fire Hall on Route 27 here in Meadville, and so I'm going to be busy with that for a couple of days. But we will have the show next Sunday night, and hopefully I can get somebody to help me with it because trying to do a 2-hour show by yourself is bad enough, but to try and put 2 or 3 together, that's impossible. But, well, not impossible. It's just kind of hard. So, anyhow, we'll be doing the gun show. I've had, believe this or not, I've had people call me from Seneca, New York, which is about 130 miles from here, 140 miles from here, and they wanted to know how to get here. I guess up in New York, they still can't have gatherings like gun shows. So the people up there are getting anxious to get to the gun show. So this one gentleman called me and he said he's going to talk to all his buddies because a bunch of them have been anxious to get here. So hopefully we have a good turnout. Okay, Emmy, what are you talking about? Double shot? Taking a double shot of insulin? No, I took my insulin at after lunch, and I took my insulin after supper. So, and I only take it 2 times a day. So who knows? Unless you're talking about you got a double shot of something, double shot of Kentucky bourbon. That sounds good. So I'm doing all the bad things today. I'm smoking a cigar, and I'm going to open up a beer here in a minute. And because the longer I live and the more things happen, the more I'm becoming convinced that life is getting too short not to enjoy yourself. Because I look at it this way: if I smoke a cigar and it takes a minute off of my life, so what? Okay. I'm enjoying the cigar right now, so that's 15 minutes of enjoyment or 20, whatever it takes to do that. And if I want to have a beer or 2, and that takes a minute off my life, so what? And like I said, life's too short not to enjoy what time you have left, because we never know how much time we got left. See, that's the first beer I've had in about a month. Yep. So it's a little bit warm. Oh, that's right. The refrigerator ain't plugged in. Okay. So anyway, like I said, next week, gun show at the East Mead Township Fire Hall on Route 27, east of Meadville by about 5 miles. And I know Scott's going to be there. He's taking a couple days off to help out because he was the go-between to help me get into the fire hall to put a show on because of some political infighting that was going on. A certain group of people there didn't want to allow me to have a gun show, whatever. So that's the plan here. No booze allowed. I'm sorry to hear that, Emmy. I do know, speaking of that, I do know I was going into the hospital for an operation, and I forget what it was for. It was either for my back or for my knee. I think it was when I went in for a rebuild of my left knee, and I was talking to the doctor, and he asked if there was anything he could get for me, and and I said, well, yeah, a 6 pack of beer would be good. He says, well, if you're used to drinking a 6 pack of beer or drinking a couple beers a day, he says, I can make arrangements for that to happen here if you want it. And I said, well, I won't put you to that because I don't want anybody to get any wrong ideas. Well, I'm glad to see you're keeping busy, Jack. I'm keeping busy, trying to. My log splitter gave me the shits here about a month ago, and we've been playing with it. And I've called a couple people that are supposedly in the know after reading the instruction manual to see what was causing the problem. So, according to the instruction manual, I needed to put more hydraulic fluid in. Well, I put the more hydraulic fluid in it, brought the level up. It was down, but it wasn't down that much. It didn't even take a gallon. It only took about 2 quarts to bring it back up to where it was supposed to be. But it got real hard to pull. Well, then I talked to somebody, and they said, well, maybe what you have is a oh, now I forgot what they called it. A vapor lock. So they said, pull the spark plug firing pin. Pull the spark plug, clean it, and pump it several times and see if it blows any garbage out of the spark plug hole. Well, we did that, and we got some gunk out of it. And but my problem is I just can't keep pulling and pulling and pulling like they tell you to. So I cleaned off the spark plug, put it back together. Still no go. Well, this morning my grandson was here. We went down. I pulled the spark plug, cleaned it off, hooked the wire back up to it, and put the spark plug so it was touching metal. And I had him pull, and I said, when you pull, watch that spark plug and see if you're getting a spark across the plug. Yeah, he was getting the spark across the plug. So I don't know if we can smell gas getting through. So I don't know if it's a vapor lock or if it's just compression factor or whether there's still gunk in there that has to blow. So I put it in there, I put the plug back in. Actually, what I did was I dipped the plug in some gasoline and stuck it in there and tightened it back down. And he pulled on it, and it almost wanted to kick over. So he pulled several more times, and then it kicked over and fired about 3 times and shut off. So I'm going to make a phone call tomorrow and check and see just how long, or how many times you have to pump that sucker to get the vapor lock out, if that's what it is. And if that don't do it, how much they charge to take a look at it and clean it. May have to drain the fuel line. I don't know if there's something in the fuel line. Shouldn't be, because there's a filter there that we pour our gas through. So anyway, you just never. We're having some problems with the connection, kids. They sent me up a notice. Please wait while we try reconnecting. So, did you guys lose me? It says we're still doing live, but for whatever reason, we're not getting through. Maybe it's too much information on the Ustream. Okay, kids, here, listen, if you can hear me. Hey, Dylan, still here. Okay, if you can hear me, and I'll continue on, I won't pay attention to that. But I was going to say, if it doesn't Okay. Well, I still have that thing, but up there. So, but I'll just keep talking as long as you kids can keep letting me know you hear me. I'll keep talking. Otherwise, I'll have to start all over again. Yes, Jack, over in Ohio, there we did hear that. Well, it was gone and now it went out again. We must be $1 million prizes, and for to 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 the people that have gotten vaccinated, so they will have five chances to win a $1 million um, prize. I won't make any comments about that because that's what got me in trouble. So anyway, Emmy can still see me, so this must be some goofy thing on their part. Anyway, I'll keep talking then. I was going on newsmax.com. Just a second here. I'm going to switch that. Hit Newsmax. Stay on. Come on, you did it before. No, I want to stay on page. All right, let's do it this way. It was kind of interesting. Shooting and homicides are up 32.2% in the U.S. cities of more than 1 million people or more, while New York City shooting and homicides are up 27% from last year, according to the FBI's quarterly crime report. We're coming out of the pandemic. Life is starting again, and more people are going to be out on the street. New Jersey Director of Public Safety James Shea told the Journal. The Jersey City PD plans to bolster patrols in high crime areas, including more video surveillance and community relations outreach, the latter of which is stressed by Washington, D.C. Metro Police Chief Robert Conti to the Journal. You wouldn't see a lot of that last year. We are certainly want to do more of that because I think that this is how you get to a safer community by engaging community members of where they are consent. Conti said. New York City police already saw a 25-year high in shootings during the pandemic and are now will be dispatching 200 officers to 100 blocks of the city's most crime-ridden areas. So you're going to send two more officers to 100 for each block of these high crime areas. That don't sound like hardly enough to me. If these are high crime areas, you should have a heavy police presence, and maybe you need four, depending on the size of the block. The warm months always usually give us more problems when it comes to violence. The New York Chief Department Rodney Harrison told the Journal. New York City had 451 shootings so far this year, up 86% from 242 at the same time last year, of which under the most severe corona lockdowns, according to the report. Okay, let's get out of there. We're still doing okay. Um, you guys hear me there okay? Yeah. I'm catching up on the things here. Okay, thank you, Emmy. So anyhow, guys, remember last year with all this stuff going on, the police departments in the big cities were being told that they had to cut back. We are going to um, we're going to lower the police force, um, roll back the funding for the police, which means cutting back on the police number of men that's going to be on the streets. I bet you the commissioner of the police department didn't get his uh, pay cut, and I don't imagine the chief got a pay cut either. But uh, a lot of what they were talking about was not. Well, you're probably right there, guys, and I will investigate that. I didn't even think about live stream with Zoom. Okay, and I have Zoom on my. That's what I use on my computer for my computer hookup through Armstrong. So later this week, I will see about that. See, I don't know all this stuff because computers are above my brain skill. Now, when it comes to something else, I'm above most other people's brain skills as far as some stuff goes. So I just I have to learn by listening and yeah. So I have to learn by seeing what I see, and then when I find out some information, I'll have to try investigating it because I worked with OBS last week and I got on OBS. YouTube wouldn't take my story because I was in jail. But Facebook, I was able to get it on Facebook. At least I think I got it on Facebook. When I punched in Facebook up at the house on the computer up there, let's see, they probably did that on Tuesday. It was there. YouTube University, yeah. So anyway, I think one of the guys made a comment last week. He said this one of the guys was watching. He says, they let him alone by himself or let him loose by himself. Well, you see what happens when I get on the thing by myself. So anyway, time for a sip of booze. Chugga lugga lugga lugga. Chugga lugga. Excuse me. You know it's good beer when it makes you burp right away. So okay, now that I checked to see that you guys were still doing this, let's go over here and push this up. Go back now. I've always been a firm believer that if you are breaking the speed limit, you need they got cameras on their body. So if they get up close enough to read your license plate number, then they need to back off because they can run that license plate number, find out who that's registered to, and then in an hour or two go to wherever that address is and knock on the door, and especially if the car hasn't been stolen yet, knock on the door and put the cuffs on the individual. That way you're not risking, number one, the police officer's life. You're not risking the perpetrator might get involved in this as this jackass is trying to speed his way through traffic to get away from the police officer. So Don't waste the gas. Don't chase them. Get their license plate number. Once you get that, then you break off pursuit. And you go to their house and arrest them at their place. Because sooner or later they'll show up there. Because they think, well, I got away with it. They never caught me, so I got away with it. Well, when they're sitting there, knock knock. And the other thing is, there's a move on to do away with the no knock um, warrants, because they're finding that innocent people and police officers are getting killed because they're breaking into the wrong house. And that should never be. I know the guy can, if he's a dopey, he can flush the stuff down the toilet, but that's fine. You knock on the door, tell them who you are, and then if they don't answer it, then you kick it in, and then you serve your warrant. But you knocked and let them know who you were. By that time, you should be able to get in there and maybe catch them in the act, and they're not going to have time to scoop it all up, so there's going to be something behind. But, hey, that's common sense. So now let's go to this story from Minneapolis. Elected officials in Minneapolis suburb, where a police officer fatally shot Dante Wright during a traffic stop in April, approved a resolution that puts the city on track to major districts policing practices. The Brooklyn Center City Council voted 4-1 Saturday in favor of a resolution that would create new divisions of unarmed citizens, employees, or unarmed civilian employees to handle non-moving traffic violations and respond to mental health crisis. It also limits situations in which officers can make arrests and require more de-escalation efforts by the police before using deadly force. In addition, a new Department of Community Safety and Violence Prevention would be formed to oversee efforts on now the bureaucracy. The city attorney and mayor have said that adopting the resolution commits the city to change, although it is not a final action. The resolution will establish a new North Star for our community, one that will keep all of us safe. Bullshit. The Brooklyn Center Mayor Mike Elliott says that we as leaders are committing ourselves, and it's the end that you can hold us accountable for achieving those goals. And I'm not going to go on down because now they bring the Liberties Union and all that kind of goody stuff. But they're talking about what I was talking about, but you can't have unarmed citizens handling violent people, because sooner or later somebody is going to pull some sort of a weapon, and they do have, the police and do have to protect themselves. But as far as the traffic violations go, let him go. You know where he lives. If he didn't stop, well, I guess he did stop, but then he tried to get away. Well, let him get away. You know where he lives. Go to his house, pick him up. And then have maybe a legitimate reason, especially if he's using deadly force to resist arrest. Of course, everybody forgets this kid was not a, how you want to say, best citizen example, or best example of a law-abiding citizen, innocent person getting killed. That when somebody that's got an arrest record 9 miles long, well, he was a good boy. He never got into any trouble. He was never any problems to, yeah, okay. So, never any problems to, yeah, okay. So I don't know why we'd be buffered now again there, Jack, but we're still going. It's becoming a recruiting, reoccurring. It's becoming a reoccurring theme. Uh, yeah, and it's going to, and until somebody steps in and puts a stop to it, it's going to continue, and it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. So, okay, guys, now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue on for part of the next hour, and because I'm still having problems getting the ink cartridges, and I've tried, I don't know, 2 or 3 different places to put it on my card, and for some reason or other it goes through all the process of doing it, but then when I push pay, it deletes everything. So I think there's something is hacked into my computer up there. I ought to come down here and try it one of these days. I don't have my card here, so but let's go see what I can find on. Okay, MIT. Okay. New variants of the COVID-19, including a fourth plane for surge of infections in India, have raised concerns worldwide. The vaccine may be rendered ineffective, may be rendered ineffective, forcing restoring. Has warned of evidence suggesting variants first identified in the UK, South Africa, and Brazil display increased. Virologists cited that in the article published by MIT, Technology Review affirms the conclusion of other researchers that the virus hasn't fundamentally changed. The scientist is Kurt Chadron of the Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York City. Another virologist, Thomas Friedrich, says the world is on the brink of a catastrophe. To go back to square one, he said. We should be concerned but not freaked out. MIT Technology Review article is titled 5 Reasons Why You Don't Need to Panic About the COVID Virus Variants. Here's the summary of the findings. Vaccines have shown to work against troublesome SARS-CoV-2 variants. The immune response. Oh, G.I. Jovis is here. Hi, G.I. Thanks for tuning in. I'm flying alone tonight again, so I don't know how long I'll be able to continue on because you have to live by yourself for so much. And some of the stuff that's out there is not really newsworthy pertaining to us, but then some of it is. Like over in, I believe it is Scotland, I think it is. Anyway, over in the UK. A church there is now going to ban the phrase, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Yeah, you heard that. So that means there is, if they don't call you husband and wife, what are they going to call you? That means that they do not recognize the difference between sexes. And I'm just so sure that God's approval is on that. Yep. And Mick, you're late again. Well, I haven't seen Mick's thing there that he tuned in, but that's all right. Crazy Bob is always first on the line. Well, no, Emmy was first online tonight to say hello. And I think she got on there to let us know that she was getting better, but she is still pretty sick. So, yeah, thank you, GI. Um, and and that. Oh God, that's what happens when you're alone. You got so many things you think about, but then you forget. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back now to have to do this several different ways because sometimes it don't go the way I want it to. Yeah, see, now it's telling me I got to leave the page. I don't want to leave the page. So we'll want another page, and then we'll get that, and we'll go there. Okay, here's some of the reason behind it. It's that sometimes, well, these days there's no husband or wife because the church is planning to dive headlong into affirming same sex duels in Scotland. Yeah, Scotland. I was right. That was in Scotland. Go. Don't go away because I'm going to take a couple minute break, and I will be back to rest my voice, and I'll come back and I'll do a little bit more since you've all been kind enough to track me down and join in. So hang in there, guys. I will be back shortly.
Ragged sky and the clouded dawn. Their brands are still on fire, their hoofs are made of steel. Their horns are black and shiny, and their hot breath he could feel. Both the fear through him as they thundered through the sky. Saw the riders coming hard, heard that awful cry. Those riders in, those riders in the sky. Those riders in.
I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to feel, and grace my feet. To sing God's praise. Then when we first
I am the unknown soldier. Some call me MIA. Some say I can't go home again. Some say I chose to stay. I am the unknown soldier who you refuse to know. A brother and a friend of yours who left so long ago. Some call me POW, the one they left behind. I am the unknown soldier. I am the unknown soldier with no more tears to shed. I'm just a fading memory, a part of the living dead. My country has betrayed me, yet I have forgiven you. And every night I pray to God that somehow he'll forgive you too. Yes, even somehow he'll forgive you too. I am the unknown soldier, the one for whom you cried. That familiar face that you can't face, the one your country told you died. I am the unknown soldier with dreams you'll rescue me, and I am a man who understands. Only death might ever set me free. Only death might ever set me free. I am the unknown soldier, and I'm black and blue and gray. I said I am the unknown soldier, and I die slowly every day. And I'm tired, and I'm hungry.
But I knew at one time Pennsylvania had some state representatives that were considering trying to introduce a sanctuary bill, Second Amendment. So if you have the information out there, paste it in at the end of the show, but tell us now so we can discuss it. Have you heard anything considering the PA 6, sanctuary bill? Because like I say, the last couple of days I've been busy and haven't been following the news that much, and been busy getting ready for this gun show that I'm putting on in next weekend up at East Mead Fire Hall. And by the way, you anybody that's driving around Meadville who knows anything about the East Mead Fire Hall, I will tell you on their menu they have their famous hot sausage sandwich available at the gun show. They have a booth at the fairgrounds up here every year, and they have quite a turnout for their hot sausage sandwich. And so they are bringing it to the gun show for anybody that's in this area that wants to come to the gun show and then get a hot sausage sandwich. You get both. You get the best of both worlds, a gun show and a chance to get a sausage without having to sandwich without having to wait until August if they have it. So be that as it may, I don't want to say any more to get us cut off because you know how. And that's so. Yeah, it is. You may think it is, but right now, with the way the government's wasting money and the people, this is a voice of the people. Okay. Now, whether it's heated or not, that's a whole different story. But that depends on the testicles on the man that has to enforce it and his deputies. So. Yeah, that's why I say we need to call our local state representatives and tell them that you're in support of the sanctuary thing and making the state a sanctuary state. And it may take a couple years to get this done if we have that long, because one of the first things we have to do is we have to get rid of some of the Democrats. We have to get rid of some of the Democrats that are in power, especially the ones that have been there for a long time, and fill the state legislature on both sides, the House and the state Senate, with Republicans. Can't sit there and say, well, did you see this? Did you see that? Or whatever. We have to do it. I sometimes get that way, but sometimes I go after representative. In fact, now that the restrictions are starting to be eased, I will go down and trying to make an appointment to see him face to face. He has met with me before on several occasions face to face. So I will see what I can do. Maybe this week. Okay, G.I. Joseph, for those of you out there listening, says no sheriffs, no deputies, no constables, no local police, no state police to um, BATF in PA. Well, it may not stop them, and you may think it won't slow them down, but I'll tell you what, if the local police start to resist, then the populace, those of us that are law-abiding citizens, need to go out and back them up, and it'll eventually slow them down because they don't have enough men, if you know what I'm saying. So, but anyway, they will try to do whatever they're going to do with sheer numbers. But remember, if enough of us resist, we can thin those numbers down to the point where they don't have enough anymore. And so it's not just at least here in Pennsylvania they did. I haven't done it lately. I need to get some, because I used to take them to the gun shows and pass them out. I think I'll do that. I got to go to town tomorrow. I'll stop in at their office down there and see if they have any of the pocket constitutions and the jury nullification book, and take them to the gun show and pass them out. Roger that, guys. They do have a tendency to stand out. So, but anyway, well, kids, I'm starting to get a little tired, and my thinking cap is starting to fail me. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I think I'm going to call it quits for tonight, and I will be back here next week. I will be back, even though I have the gun show, and give me a helping hand. So at that point, guys, I'm going to say good night. Arrivederci, and we will see you next week, and I will do the streaming. As far as checking my bandwidth, Uncle Bob, I will do that, but I'm going to have to get somebody to come up and help me. I have a technician that comes and helps me when he's in town if I have something that I need to do. So I will try and get a hold of him this week to see if he can come up and help me do that. Okay, guys, thanks for listening, and if you see Emmy, tell her I was glad to hear her. Okay, we'll talk at you later. Good night. Be safe.